Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. I hope you've had an amazing week. I just wanted to jump on here this morning and talk about a post that I created a couple days ago. Hey, Trey. How you doing, girl? A couple days ago, I created a post talking about how we feel as hairstylists, how we feel in the salon industry after we've been in it for a little while, and we start discovering what the career is really like, rather than what we sometimes think it's going to be like when we first go into it. So I think this is really important because I think this is something that probably most salon professionals struggle with at some point in time until they make some sort of a switch. And I think this is a really important topic to talk about. I think, I've struggled with it, and I continue to be challenged by this feeling of where am I now, where would I really like to be, and what do I need to do to get there. So, first of all, let me just say, I had a really rough night last night, so I'm a little bit medicated. I wasn't feeling very good, so I'm probably not as prepared this morning as I should be. But with that being said, I will try not to ramble all over the place because that is something I don't like when I go on and I hear a podcaster or someone doing a live talking. It's like just rambling on, and I totally tend to do that myself, so I'm gonna try not to do that. But I think this subject is really important. And so I think for me, what my hope and my goal is in this new brand that I've sort of started, which only exists as an Instagram account right now, is going to be to help other hairstylists and salon professionals to see the path to see their way in a path to their particular freedom, whatever that would be, whatever that dream would be. And on my Instagram right now, I talk a lot about your dreams and your goals and big dreams and big goals and, what are you doing? And I'm so interested to hear what it is that you have, laid out before you, or what you've got your eye on, and the things that are important to you in the industry, and where you want to be in your life. So I'm always interested to hear, what you guys are, got your eye on out there. So I want to really help people, and I want to help myself to get to that ideal life, the one that I envisioned when I started out in the industry over 20 years ago. I want to break through that thing that sort of happens to many of us when we've been standing behind the chair for a while and we're looking around and we're thinking, this has really become a job. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I feel pulled in 80 different directions. I feel like I'm tied to this chair and I'm just not happy. And a lot of hairstylists wind up getting out of the industry because of that. And so I think my mission with the Real Life Stylist is to help people to figure out where it is that they can go in this industry, and live out their ideal dreams and their ideal career. I think a lot of times hairstylists feel like that the avenue is to go to work in a salon, become a salon owner, and then retire at some point. But the problem is many hairstylists never retire. I see people standing behind the chair at 60, 70 years old. And it's really sad because at that point they still don't have enough money. Their body is broken down. Nobody has kind of showed them the path to an easy life. So Trey said, question, when your trajectory changes a lot, how do you redefine your goals? Oh my gosh, this is so me. This is so me. So I want to go back to that in a second because that's like that shiny ball syndrome thing that I get, and I know we all get that because we're super creative people if we're in this industry. I know, we're always sort of context switching, and we're always thinking, I'm going through it right now, actually, which is another reason why I have this brand, is because I want people to see the real things that sort of take place and how you can kind of overcome these things to, you know, get to that life that you want to live. So I'm totally going to talk about that because I think that's really important. And I do really want to just get to the point. So anyway, I was in a class back a couple months ago, and there's a man named Randy Kunkel. And Randy is one of the founders and creators of a business, salon business model called Summit. And Randy asked a very important question when he was talking to all of us. And this business model, Summit, by the way, is designed to show a hairstylist the quickest, easiest, most efficient path from starting behind the chair or, you know, in a salon or in a spa all the way to retirement. It gives you a roadmap for financial freedom, for, you know, planning for taking time off. Oh my gosh, there's my friend Brian. What are you doing? Are you a hairstylist, Brian? It's okay, you can listen too, it's fine. It's my friend Brian, you guys. He's always been right behind me there, you know, giving me hell the whole way, and I really do appreciate it. But Randy said, where does freedom live? And that was a really, really important question because Randy is sort of in the process of changing the way that the program is working right now. And he's come to realize that there should be, oh my gosh, okay, Brian, okay. Brian is my financial advisor, and he's probably not very proud of the way that I've always managed my own finances, but that's okay. You know, you might learn something. You just might. I'm glad you're here, and I miss you. So anyway, Randy says, where does freedom live? And because he's realizing that we're in a different place now in the industry. And so people now want to realize a particular dream. It's that dream that they started out behind the chair thinking that, you know, this was going to be and how it was all going to play out. And they were going to have flexibility in their schedule, and they were going to have enough money, and, you know, they were going to live this great life and do what they love and be creative, and it was all going to be great. And it's not always like that, as we all know. So this is kind of what we want to get to, and this is what my intention is and my goal is for, you know, this account and for this brand that I'll be starting. So where does freedom live? And so that's different for everybody. I think one of the things that you have to really think about when you're sort of in that rut behind the chair and you're struggling financially, you're also struggling because you feel like you're pulled in every different direction. You know, all the creativity, all the passion, all of that has totally gone out the window, and you just feel like you're just working. You're just working your ass off the whole time, and you're really not getting anywhere. You have no retirement in this business. You have no insurance, so you don't have all those perks. And then nobody has taught you also how to plan for your life and how to create a roadmap for yourself to success. So people like me spend 25 years trying to figure it out, making a lot of mistakes and screwing up along the way and being really tired and really burnt out and really frustrated and taking it out on my friends like Brian, which, I mean, he totally deserves it anyway, so there's that. So then we start to think about, and this is what Trey had brought up, and Trey Howard also, you guys, she's amazing. You got to go follow her because she keeps getting featured by like Sam Villa and, you know, Pivot Point, and like this girl is like freaking ridiculous with what she could do with hair. So you got to go follow her. But it was something that she said. She said, okay, so, you know, how do you know, you know, what you really, really want to do? You know, how do you know, you get a great idea and you think, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. And then you like start down that path, and then all of a sudden you're like, ooh, wait a second. Ooh, I should be doing this. And so then you just kind of get overwhelmed and you think, oh my God, forget it. I'm never going to be able to make up my mind. And you just start to perpetuate these things in your head. And this is actually something that I'm dealing with right now. The Real Life Stylist actually came along after I started what I was absolutely sure was going to be my next thing, was this wedding business. And it is, and I'm working on it, and I love weddings like none other. But, what I really realized was that there was that little thing in the back of my head that had been there for years and years and years that I never really focused on or paid attention to. And that was mentorship of other hairstylists in the industry, other salon professionals within the industry. And there was all of this sort of like self-doubt, because we go on Instagram, we go on Facebook, we see people out here in our community that are just rocking it. Like we might think, oh, they're cooler, they're like, they've got more talent, they got more ability. Their page, they've got like tens of thousands of followers, and I'm just never going to be able to do that. Somebody's already doing it. I mean, what is the point? And the thing is like, I think what you have to really, really dive into and ask yourself is, what is that thing that keeps coming up in your head over and over and over again? What's that thing that you just can't ever stop thinking about, that's been there consistently for the duration? What is it that keeps coming up? It's that thing that you're scared of. It's that thing that you are afraid that you're going to fail at. It's that thing that you're afraid you're thinking too big. And that's probably what it is that you need to be really focusing on. It's that thing that really lights you up. And I think that we should always just go for that. And because that's what we're going to be the very best at. And yeah, you know what? It doesn't matter what you do. There's already somebody out there doing it. They're already like doing it on a way bigger scale. And and you totally are envying them, and you don't know how they did it, and it becomes totally overwhelming. But the thing is that you have to just start, and that is the thing that I keep talking about over and over and over with this account, is just start, because action inspires more action. You can plan, and I think planning is important. You can try to put all of your ducks in a row, but at the end of the day, you just have to start somewhere. That's why I'm looking like this on a Sunday morning, and I'm uncomfortable doing video, because I'm going to look back at this, when I'm way further on down the road, and I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, like, what was that all about? I mean, are you kidding me? Like, I'm probably going to cringe at this. I'm probably going to cringe at this in 5 minutes, but you have to get past the fear of A, what everybody else thinks, and B, the fact that you don't think you can do it. You're never going to do what somebody else is doing as well as they're doing it. You have to do what it is that's going to make you happy, and do it the way that only you would do it, because there's not going to be anybody else that's going to have that unique flair on what it is that you're doing. So you have to start there. That is the most important thing, is that you take the minute to recognize that little thing that keeps knocking in the back of your brain, that thing that you kind of just say, oh, no, I don't know. That's it. That is it. And I ignored that, and I started a wedding business. I love the wedding business. I love it. I'm going forward with it because I think that is going to be a really cool thing to share with other hairstylists who at some point may want to start their own wedding business. And at that point, I'm able to share with them, here's how I did it. I don't know how to do it. I just started it, and here are the roadblocks that happened for me. Here's how I overcame them. I had absolutely no idea. I think the big thing that we do a lot is say, but I don't know how. But I just don't know how to do that stuff. I just don't. And then we get overwhelmed. So you have to just start somewhere. Just do something. Trey says, I remember Victor Val saying something, stylists are only concerned with the hot young version of themselves. Oh my God, yeah. We're not planning for the older, broke down model of ourselves. That is so true. And one of the things that has held me back, and I think probably other people can relate to this, is you go on and you see somebody on Instagram that's like way hotter, or you think they're way hotter, like, and they're younger and they're cooler and they're more stylish and they got all their shit together, and there's just like, you're like, well, I'm never gonna be like that. And so it's intimidating, and we start comparing ourselves and playing the comparison game, and it's just, it's doomsday. You can't do that. So you just start. And so I had no idea how to start a wedding business. You know, my goal is to not be the hairstylist that is going out and doing all the hair. I love an updo better than anybody in the world, but I don't want to be the one every single Saturday going out and doing it. Do I know how to hire out subcontractors? No, I don't. I'm at the very embryo stage of this entire process. And now I've started myself 2 businesses because I did the very same thing that Trey is just talking about. And then I start questioning myself like, oh my God, I can't quit doing the wedding business, because I think these 2 things are going to tie in together. And if you have 2 passions, find a way to merge them together. Find a way to mesh them so that you turn it into something totally creative, totally different, totally new, and then that's totally your thing. And nobody else is going to do that. One of the things I think when we start out, going back to starting out in the industry, we have this idea of what it's going to be like. Like I said, flexibility in your schedule. You're going to be getting paid for something you love. Like, what can be more amazing than that? But I think a lot of artists, I know my son is experiencing this too at this time, but a lot of people who are artists of any type or creative people of any type, the minute they start doing their passion for a living, something happens to that, and then it's not a passion anymore, it's a job, and it can ruin it for you. And the key to making sure that you continue to love what you do is to take responsibility for the fact that you are going to have to create your ideal situation inside of what it is that you're doing. Because you can go to beauty school and you can get out, you can start working in a salon, and you can, be moving up the chain, but you got to somehow keep it new or focus on growing, or actually that's the entire key, is growth. That is like at the fundamental level of this entire issue is growth. You have to continue to keep growing, but you also have to teach yourself how to grow. When you're in a place of being stagnant and you're in a place of, I can't keep doing this, is this my life really? Then you have to teach yourself how to grow. You've got to seek out the things that are going to give you the tools so that you're able to move forward. And so I think the keys are, you have to really look at what it is that you would just do for free. Like, nobody could stop you, but obviously you want to get paid. But what is that thing inside of you that you just like gravitate towards? You know that that's your gift. You know that that's your talent. Like, what is that inside of you? And you have to go with that inside of your business, inside of the industry that you're in. Figure out a way to create that niche, because your niche will create itself. It's because it's the thing that's inside of you that you would just naturally do. And I think that is always probably the best path. So I think a lot of hairstylists too don't realize the avenues that are available to them when they get out of school. You think that there's one path. You think, all right, I'm going to work behind the chair, and then pretty soon one day I'm going to wind up having my own salon. And guess what? Nobody teaches you how to run a business in school. They don't teach you. And that's a nightmare a lot of times, just saying. So you are then a business owner. This is why I never went with owning a business. I'm in the perfect situation right now. I'm a shareholder in our salon. I get to help I get to help contribute to the direction of the company. I get to be involved in it. I get to help inspire and shape and mold the business, but it's not laying all on my shoulders. A lot of people don't realize that isn't the end game for everybody. Some people aren't meant to own a salon. In fact, probably a very select few are really meant to own a salon, because nobody shows you how to properly do it. Enter Mr. Randy Kunkel with the salon business systems. He is amazing. But then you got to have a coach come in and start teaching you how to pull your team out of the weeds, because you're in there not giving yourself a paycheck. You're in there working 7 days a week. You've got a staff that's all drama and arguments, and you are working your ass off, and this thing has become a total ball and chain. Nobody tells hairstylists that either, but hairstylists think that's the end game. Own my own salon and it's gravy, and it isn't. Some people are great with that. I think you have to be the right person. Gavin Smith, who owns Studio Gavin, the salon that I work at, totally meant to run a salon. That man is amazing. He is a business person at heart. So that's his thing, and he's been very successful doing it. He's got a beautiful boat, by the way. I'm just saying. That's his thing. But there's so many other avenues that you can go into. And I don't think people know that. So anyway, like I said, I didn't feel very good last night, so I was not doing very well with my preparations this morning. But let me just read you a few things that you can maybe think about if you are feeling a little bit stagnant in where you are working behind the chair, just to kind of get your brain flowing a little bit as to the other possibilities that are out there in the industry. And these are all things that I've had some experience with, and just like Trey was saying, I've gone in this direction, and this direction, and this direction. I want to do this, and I want to do that. And so I've done all of this stuff, a lot of this stuff, right? And now I'm finally settling on, this is what I really wanted to do all along. And the thing that you really, I think, are meant to do sort of happens naturally. I naturally mentor within the salon. I naturally teach. You know, I'm asked for advice. I do professional development coaching within our salon to other stylists. And my style for coaching other stylists is different. It's not just numbers based, but it's motivationally based. It's growth based. It's inspiration. It's innovation, and it's opening up a broader perspective so that people can see the possibilities that are out there and be able to have the confidence in knowing that it is possible for them. So a few things that you could think about, you know, as a hairstylist, if you're starting out in the industry. You could go into editorial, you know, and by the way, as I build this brand and the website gets going, there's going to be tons of free material for you to be able to download. There's going to be just a ton of resources that will help you to get started in any of these things that I'm talking about. So it's all going to be available. It's something I'm working on right now. This little, this little brand of maybe 80 followers that I have now, 90 followers that I have, it's an Instagram account. That's where I am right now. But the website's being built, and all of these things are going to be in there so that you can choose from what appeals to you, and then you can start to dive into the how, because if you don't know how, then the next step is you got to teach yourself how, and teaching yourself how is really overwhelming. So to have a roadmap, somebody to say, here are the steps, here's what you do, here's what you got to go for, and breaking it down makes it so much less overwhelming. So editorial, okay, fashion. You might go to New York. You might go to London. You might go to Paris. I've worked Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week, Bridal Fashion Week, and that whole scene might be something that appeals to a hairdresser. How do I get into that? How do I break into the right circles of people so that that's my life? Where do I go? Where do I start? All of that stuff is stuff that can be very, very intimidating if you're just kind of starting out trying to figure it out. And so then you've got, maybe you want to work with artists and celebrities. Maybe you live here in Nashville and your goal is to work with artists and celebrities and actors and models, and but how do I ever do that? I mean, somebody always knows somebody, right? Somebody else always gets the good opportunities. There's so many hairstylists in Nashville. How would I ever break into that? Well, we can break down the steps that you can take to put yourself in the right place at the right time, and to, if you're determined, realize these actual goals. So it's so much easier, I think, than people think it is. Salon ownership, that's also a road. If you want to go down that road, we'll be talking about that coming up in the months to come. As I develop this brand, we'll be talking about salon ownership. Maybe you want to be an educator for a brand. I'm an educator for a brand. I work for Caritas, and I travel and I teach, and it's been very gratifying. It kind of it really gets into that like mentorship and coaching that really appeals to me. So that's been just an awesome experience as well. It's really helped to grow me to the point where I am now, so that I actually do know for sure the direction I'm going to go. And now I'm all in. And now I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that, this is going to turn into a really great thing. And all my hopes and dreams are going to come true. And that sounds really corny, but I promise you it really isn't. And we talk about all that stuff too. Brand representation. You could work for a brand. You could be, instead of a hairstylist, maybe you're a rep. We've got an amazing business development representative that comes into our salon for Kerastase, another great one for Redken, and Pureology. Like, these women are amazing. They make a great living. They travel all over, and they're more on the corporate side. So maybe you've decided, you know what, maybe this standing behind the chair, I don't know. Maybe you go to work for L'Oreal for one of their brands. L'Oreal is an amazing company to work for, but there's other companies out there as well. Maybe you want to be on the corporate side of things, and that's okay. You kind of figure out, hey, I'm a numbers person. I'm more structured. I like this side of things rather than being with all hands in working on clients. That's totally fine, and that's a whole other avenue where being a hairstylist will definitely serve you in crossing over to the corporate side. So you've also got that. You could develop your own independent brand of education, and that's what I'm doing right now. I have no idea. I'm not successful yet. I have 90 followers maybe on Instagram, and I probably lost one or two. So, you just have to start. You just got to start. That's it. So you could be an influencer. I know that can be super intimidating too, to look out there and see on social media somebody who's an influencer. Somebody who looks like they've just got it all together. Somebody who, you can't imagine how you could ever get to the point where they are now. If you break it down, if you break big goals down, then it is not so, it's not such a difficult thing to see. It is something that can actually happen. And so the thing that I would like to do is to help break down all the little pieces that go into reaching the big goals. So all of that education is going to be coming up with the Real Life Stylist. The thing is like, if you don't know how to do something, you really have to teach yourself how to do it. The best way to teach yourself how to do it is to just start. The moment you get started, if you're feeling overwhelmed, just start somewhere. And do one thing for that day, and that's it. Hey, Shelby. Hey, girl. Oh, sorry. It's like I'm not on camera. Just getting all comfy. Oh, look at my pants. My tie-dyed pants. Okay. Anyway, so so there's just so many different avenues out there that you can explore. But the overarching message that I have for you, if you feel stagnant and you feel like you're sort of trapped and you're tied behind the chair, and this life is not at all what you had hoped it would be, there are so many options available to you. And like I said, going forward, that's what I hope to help you explore and look into, to see sort of where you might fit in the industry, and where you might like to go, and that and to let you know that it truly is possible, and it isn't as crazy a pipe dream as you would think it is. So many people have done it before. Not everybody does it because it's not easy. It's actually simple, which I didn't realize, but it is not easy. So people don't do stuff that's hard. Oh, okay, Brian. I know, you know how I talk forever and ever. And I know you got other things to do on a Sunday besides just, hang out and listen to me talk about being a hairstylist. But, really that's been a big part of your life, like sitting in the chair listening to me talk. So, I can understand like why you're back again. All right. I love you. You have a wonderful day. Thanks for coming on, Brian. I appreciate you. For you other guys, thank you so much for coming on and listening. I hope I wasn't rambling on too much. And oh, thank you, because it is a huge, it's like, it's a big difference. Big difference. Okay, one thing I want to leave you with, because usually I like to have my notes written down so I'm a little more organized in what I'm saying. That's not true, but thank you. I'm totally rambling. One thing I wanted to point you in the direction of is just to start sparking that motivation and that inspiration. Read books. Seek out the things that would start to inspire you and get you going. One book that I think the first book that I started reading when I really hit that, I don't want to say rock bottom. It wasn't like that. I wasn't like living in a ditch somewhere, it wasn't like that. But yeah, I just finally kind of got tired of the way that things were and the way that we were living our life, and that I never had any time, and I never seemed to have enough money, and I was not completely satisfied. I had to wake up one day and say, I have got to grow past this, and I've got to find out how to do it. And it is not up for discussion. It is 100%. It has to happen. There's just no other way. It's not going to happen. I have to get past this, and I have to create a life that I love. How do I do this? Where do I start? And I knew that I had to start by changing my mindset. And my mindset was very negative at the time. There was a lot of self-talk that was, I was putting myself down. Well, you're too old. You're not cool enough. You need to lose some weight. You're not stylish enough. You don't have enough money. You don't have this. Continuously, I wouldn't talk to like an enemy that way. But yet I was being so cruel and mean to myself, and in turn making it so that I had absolutely no hope of thinking that I could move forward and change it. And I knew that that was at the heart of what had to happen. So I would say, if you're a hairstylist and you are, or you just work in the beauty industry, because you're a service provider, you're performing a service for people. If this is you and you're feeling like this didn't turn out the way that you wanted it to, you have to figure out the way to grow yourself toward where you want to go. And it takes being intentional in finding the right resources. So one that I wanted to leave you with, it was the first one I started to read when I was re-exploring changing my mindset, and that was John Maxwell's The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. And I listened to that on audiobook a couple of different times, and it really started to give me a little bit of a push towards where I wanted, towards just having the mindset and the positivity in my head to start feeling happier, and the happier came from feeling hopeful that things could be different. And so the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, I downloaded that on Audible, and I was just listening to that, and that started me on this phase of this growth journey. And I've had several phases in my life of growth and have jumped several hurdles, but the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth sort of re-sparked me again to start on this next journey and this next chapter. That's a great one. I also read, and I love the most recent one that I read, You're a Badass at Making Money, Jen Sincero. Oh my gosh. And I listen to audiobooks. I love audiobooks. That's another one. Super inspiring. The other thing that really helped me a lot, and I should put these all in my highlights of my Instagram. Another one that I liked is The Miracle Morning. That made the whole difference in my day. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning now, and I plan out my day. Yes, audiobooks and podcasts, because I'm a multitasker. But if I like the audiobook, I will go out and buy the hard copy and then take notes or like write in the book, because I have to write things down. So I might listen to it a couple times, and then I might go back and just buy the book and then write it all down, or take notes. But so You're a Badass, that's great. You're a Badass and You're a Badass at Making Money. Those two books, just awesome. And the Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, that's another one. And that completely changed what my days look like and my productivity. And when you feel like you're being productive and you're making progress on being productive, you cannot be stopped. And so that totally changed things for me. Like, it was crazy, that Miracle Morning book. So I would definitely recommend that. I'll put those in my highlights too, the books that I've read and that I am reading, so that, you know, y'all can have access to that. And yeah, that's it. I think that's it for the day. But I appreciate you guys so much. I've gotten all the love and all the support and all these like great comments and encouraging words since I've started on this, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. It really does spur me on, and it encourages me to keep going forward. I love other hairstylists. I love other people in the beauty industry. I think we are the greatest people on earth. And if it could be in my life's mission to just help people to have a more a life of freedom. That what was it Randy said? He said, where does freedom live? And so I think we have to all ask each other, or ask ourselves that question: where does freedom live? It's different for everybody. And how do we get there? And in that path to where it is that freedom lives for each one of us, I think that's the contentment, and that is the joy and the happiness within the career that I think is many times missing. So I guess that's what I leave you with today, is just ask yourself, for yourself, where does freedom live? And I thank Randy Kunkel for that, because that sticks in my head. And it's one of those things that continues to spur me on. I would also say visualization, continue to visualize and really sensorial. I think I've tried to say this word before and I couldn't say it. Really, like, try to feel this with all of your senses. You know, what does this freedom look like? What does it feel like? Where am I? What is it? Like, everything about it, and you visualize it, and that kind of becomes your why and the thing that sort of spurs you on. So where does freedom live? That's the word for the day. Happy Sunday. Thank you so much for joining. I'm excited for all the things that are to come for the Real Life Stylist. And of course, I'll be sharing them all with you as consistently as I know how as I go along, because, you know, we all know that's a pitfall as well. And love to you all, and we will see you soon. Bye.